Remner, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Are there any citizens' comments this evening? Going once, going twice. Lou, do you want to share the food distribution?
It's Saturday the 27th at the Tech, and volunteers are always welcome.
Cool. And it starts at what time?
And the official giving away starts at 10. Volunteers are encouraged to be there between 9 and 9:30 to help pack stuff in the back and stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item 6, the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on December 19th, 2023 at 6:00 p.m. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 7, authorized bills for payment, with the correction of total bills actually totaling to $129,247.96. So with that correction, I'll refer to Trustee Fisher.
I would ask for approval of the bills in the amount of, the corrected amount as stated by the supervisor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. 129,000. 247. 247. 0.96. You're welcome. Item 8, I'm happy to have this on the agenda to receive and place on file the decennial committee report. We have it completed, finalized, signed. We will have it submitted to the clerk's office. So is there a motion to approve that?
So moved. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 9 is consider approval of accounting agreement with Lauterbach and Amen. I'll defer over to our business manager, Sandra Usher.
So currently we, for all our accounting services, we pay $1,750 a month. They're increasing that to $1,775, which is a $25 increase for the next budget year to start May 1 to the April of 2025. We also have our timekeeping system with them, and they're increasing that by $4.50 from $162.50 to $167 even for the next budget year.
Is there a motion to accept that contract?
I'll move to accept the contract.
Second.
Second, any discussion?
I would just note that they seem to be doing a very good job for us.
It was a huge change when actually when I got elected, we had a full-time accountant and a part-time accountant. And then we changed to a full-time accountant. And when we cut our budget from, when the huge hit happened and it went from like $2 million down to $1 million, we actually had to lay off some employees, and the accountant was one of them, and we went with this accounting service, and these guys have been really phenomenal. It's saved us a lot of money over the years, so I appreciate it. So we have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ferguson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 10, consider approval of the Swalco agreement. So I reached out to Swalco just for a number of reasons to see if, well, it was first because I read on nextdoor.com that people were looking for a place to donate their Christmas lights that didn't work anymore. And so put together the coolest relationship with we just got a banner for the side of the truck, and it turned out Janet Eppers, whose son retired from the Zion Fire Department, Alan Eppers, they have a group that collects all of these different things, and they turn it in, and they have nonprofit groups that they donate the money to every time. So I had worked out with Swalco that we would be able to like take all these lights to Breeze Lake, and she was like, nope, we'll just come pick them up, and if you want the money, I was like, no, contribute it to the nonprofit group, so it worked out really good. So told her that we would love to be able to support her for the other items that they do collections on too, if that could work. So, but when I had the conversation with Merleanne, there we go. She had asked this a number of years ago when we had first moved into that building, if there would be an opportunity to put a textile collecting container behind the township building. And at the time, because we had a dumpster there, we didn't really have the space, but we don't have the dumpster anymore. And so they promised that they keep it clean. If there's an issue, they're out within 24 hours to take care of it. And so we thought, why not work with them? So, yeah.
I think we have to check our ordinance to make sure, because we had that some time ago, and in our ordinance it stated that those weren't allowed in the city. So, let me check with that, to make sure that it's permitted.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. So is it possible to pass this so long as it meets the ordinances? Could we do that? Right, and then if it doesn't, we'll address that. Cool. So is there a motion to allow us to have the textile bin at the township so long as it meets city ordinance?
Make the motion.
Motion by Jack,
Second.
second by Mike. Any further discussion?
So, I was thrown off. So initially I thought Christmas lights, and so now we're doing Christmas lights plus the textile?
So,
But it's one
so
bin?
the first, no, so the Christmas lights was just to be thrown in the back of the township truck.
Got it.
The textile bin is what they have been hoping, we're one of the few communities that they don't have one in, for
Okay.
people to be able to recycle any kind of clothing.
Okay.
So, the city does the, shoes, that's the other piece to it, they have textiles and shoes, and so she asked if there was an opportunity for us to do the textile bin.
And are these the metal lock containers that
Mhm.
folks can just throw into?
Yes, and we will have we will have keys in case there's an issue, and then, but they are willing to come out within 24 to deal with that. And so.
Okay. And you said the placement is gonna be back by the garage?
On the back side of the garage, so somebody could pull up into the alley and be able to unload.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion, do we have a second? We did?
Yes.
Okay, cool, okay, any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Ferguson?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item is the CJ grant update. Ms. Sandra Usher.
We now have an executed agreement, and our next step coming up is for us to submit our first reporting, which will cover services paid from July 1st of 2023 till the end of this month. So they send 2 reporting, and we track, and so right now what I'm working with our agent at with CJ Grant is how they want to report it, because they do ask for documentation. So I'm going back and forth, just making sure that what they want as supporting documents is what we are providing to them.
And I believe we're the first ones to actually get to this level, so none of the other taxing bodies have gotten to this level yet, so.
What does CEDA stand for?
The Clean Energy Jobs Act.
Thank you. So that is the grant that we got, or not, yeah, the grant that we got from the spent fuel rods. And so, being housed here, and so.
So, question on the reporting in the application, so it's a grant, but we're submitting a report for past
Reimbursement,
expenses?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's how we're getting the grant, it's all reimbursement.
okay, and then what's the categorization of expenses?
So right now, what we are doing is personnel, and we're also doing public service.
Well, that also includes,
Disaster relief.
disaster relief, emergency assistance, and general assistance. So, which were specific qualifications, cool. That's just to update everybody, and so, so if it works out and it comes through, then we will be looking to abate taxes to match what we get, to be able to move forward with that, so, looking forward to that. Any other questions on that? And next, thank you very much, Sandra. Next item is discussion in regards to Zion Township establishing a Zion Township Arts and Beautification Commission. So, maybe a month ago, the Village of Mundelein invited me to visit them, cause they're actually looking at, starting making the marigold their flower and having a Marigolds and Monarchs Festival. And so, looking at the structure of the village, they actually have a beautification committee, they have an arts commission, and then there's a non-for-profit that helps with community events, right? So kind of like our Buzz Committee. And so I spoke with David and the mayor to see if there was any desire, interest with the city doing something like that. And because my thought was that with everything that we're doing with the murals and with the Zinnian Monarch Festival, the different things that we're doing, it really makes sense to house those under something. And so the idea is that we establish a Zion Township Arts and Beautification Commission, so that just put them under one for now. And one of the reasons for this, and the reason it came up actually specifically, was I've been meeting with Deanna Cruz, who runs the Dandelion Wine Gallery in Waukegan, and she had talked about that at some point, if the Arts Commission became a non-for-profit, we could go for some substantial grants to be able to do other things in the community. But the first step would be to structure an organization that could then be moved up. And so that was how the actual conversation started. But being able to put the structure in place, I feel, some of the things that have come up that we keep batting around, the farmer's market, different things, we could actually have a space to be able to have those conversations in the community, and anybody that has different ideas that comes up. So in the Village of Mundelein, they actually have an 11-person commission, and I've talked to Christine Wortman from the Zion Park District a little bit about having somebody, only people that have a passion for it, and having voluntold people serve in a group is painful. So only having individuals that have a passion for it, but trying to get somebody from the different taxing bodies that, if they're interested, to be a part of it, so that we can do some collaborations. And then having the mayor and you guys and us come up with a list of 11 people that we think would be substantially well. I called Trustee McDowell today, because even though he seems like this, right, he is a creative, right? He's got so many amazing ideas, so hoping to get support with, if you guys were to agree that this is a direction that we would want to move in, to lean on him a little bit to help me figure it out. But yeah, so I'm just curious, good, bad, ugly thoughts around it, because it's just a thought that, trying to put some kind of order to the chaos that I create with all these crazy ideas.
I'm actually surprised we didn't have anything like this before.
Right. Yeah.
Why not now?
Right, so I actually, I reached out to the executive director of Township Officials of Illinois, just to make sure it's something that the township could do, because usually it seems like it's something that municipalities do. And he said it's under community service, it absolutely fits, that there's not a problem with it at all.
How big of a commission are you thinking of?
Mundelein has 11, well, actually, they have 11 for their Arts Commission, and I think 8 for their Beautification Committee, but I think 11 would be a good number for Arts and Beautification. That way, you've always, if people are out and stuff, there's enough conversation to be able to get some momentum going. My other question was around the idea of, do you call it a commission or a committee? And I looked up some information that said, like, commissions are people that actually do things, committees are people that talk about it. So I was like, ooh, I think I want a commission, not a committee. Yeah. Thoughts?
Like we spoke earlier, is there any possibility that the Buzz group could take on something like this and expand it to be not, well, what does Buzz stand for anyway?
Building of Zion?
Yeah, could it be building and beautifying,
Right.
you know, something like that?
Could-
Because that's a group that's you're already in place and they actually do the types of things that you're talking about, so.
If you want to start,
I mean, my initial thought with that is, I like that idea. I think Buzz right now is just a committee, as far as the coalition is concerned, so I think it would be eligible to kind of just shift, some of that effort over, and then put it under a commission like this.
oh, so you're thinking like shift it under the township commission instead of, I think you're thinking not do a township commission and just have Buzz do it.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and my, what I appreciated about the way that Mundelein has their set up is they do have a non-for-profit organization that's a partner with it, right? Beautifying, I think it's called Beautify Mundelein, but it's separate from the other two. And just, you know, one of the examples is trying to do a farmer's market, right? When it's an individual or another group that's trying to do it, there's so many things that stop it that are really simple fixes when you're in a government entity having a partnership with other government entities. Where, I mean, even like Buzz trying to have a craft fair at Nostalgia Days, there was so much red tape that they couldn't do it. I mean, so much red tape, where if it's a government entity, there's different rules around it. And so I feel like it being under the township, we can really help residents that are trying to do really good things that keep giving up because they just can't figure out their way through the whole maze of government bureaucracy to make that happen. So if I have, and the only way that, like, in my heart that we do anything is when there's a champion that's willing to head it up, right? We're not gonna like be the fire starters for everything, and a lot of those champions come from the Buzz group.
And I wouldn't wanna create another commission that might be competing with them in terms of ideas
Mhm.
and because the Building Up Zion group, I mean, they do have a lot of ideas and they've implemented things in the community, but now you're gonna have another group that wants to do something similar and.
I see where you're coming from with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what Mundelein does is, so they've got the Arts Commission, they've got the Beautification Commission, and they've got this other group. And they have, on their Beautification Commission, they have somebody from the Arts Commission and somebody from their not-for-profit that serve on that board, so everybody's on the same page, right? So right now, I think Buzz has maybe 5 active members, and they're doing some projects around the community, but, being able to have the capacity to go for grants, you know, to do, and to be able to house, like, Buzz isn't gonna take over the Zinnian Monarch Festival, right? It's too big for that group to take on, and there's just way too much. And all the liability and stuff, they'd have to get insurance, and, with the township, we already have it, it's just a file.
Well, I think if we were to utilize the Buzz group, they would have to grow and become more organized and, so I'm not
Yeah.
just thinking, yeah, we'll just turn this over to these 5 people. It's, we already have an organization, a group, with 5 people that are committed, we just need to add to that.
So I'd be curious, so one of the, trustees for the Village of Mundelein, actually is the girlfriend of Pastor Kim at the Methodist Church. And so, I would be curious, cause she was really involved with some of the structuring of what they did, and to see if maybe she would be willing to come to the next meeting and kind of share with us their thinking and what they're trying to do and why it matters to have that. If you guys would be open to just like the next conversation to just see what the pros and cons are with it. And then when I meet with Deanna Cruz, cause she was one of the ones that said that like it's really critical to be able to do some of the work that like the city of Waukegan is able to do is that they actually have a commission under the government agency. That's not, you know, a not-for-profit, that's just trying to do good things in the community, so. But we'll just keep delving into it.
How does Mundelein fund their commission?
I think well, we can find that out. Yeah, that would be guessing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only other downside with, government being involved, because that means we're gonna be using tax dollars to fund something like this. So I'd much rather have it in the private sector. Not that government is opposed to beautification, but, I think not-for-profits and non-governmental organizations have the potential of doing more. And
How do they get through the red tape?
yeah, well, we're the ones that create the red tape, so.
I know, right?
That's-
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
So.
we can discuss that.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure,
right.
we could daydream. We discuss it a lot.
So, I know the insurance has been a big thing. What other, like, red tape issues have you come up against?
So like the farmer's market idea, right, to have somebody in Buzz want to do that, there's so many details in that even the people that were completely passionate about it took a hands out, it's just too big, it's just too much. To not have any kind of, just support with like, you know, the basic things that you have to, the contracts and that kind of stuff. I would think that's one of them. And then, so like, for example, the Zinnia and Monarch Festival, right? To be able to land that under Buzz, like there's the number of things that Sandra is the business manager, I mean, we're already putting money into community beautification with the Zinnia's for Zion project. We're finding ways to actually compensate for that so that we can make it self-sustaining financially. But there's a lot of work that goes into that if it's with Buzz, it ends up being volunteers that really don't have the capacity to do real substantial improvements in the community. They can, put up corn stalks or, some of the other things. But
Well, the thing is, it does take money, so there has to be a funding source.
Yeah.
And if it's government, the funding source is gonna be taxpayers. If it's, not for profit, then that doesn't mean there is no money involved.
Right.
That just means there's more organization involved, and you might have to hire an executive director and come up with a salary structure for employees, so it is a bigger deal.
Right.
Because you just can't rely on volunteers to do this type of, so if you're talking, if the red tape is the time commitment of volunteers, they don't have the time to put into it to make it happen.
Right.
Well, that's understandable because they're volunteering, but if you've got an NGO that has a executive, director and a board and, kind of like what the coalition does, it's volunteer though, but
Correct.
you've got your acts together.
Well, and that's the thing, it's that, that tipping point of getting to a point of scale. So a larger project like the farmer's market, it's hard with volunteers to sustain it
Right.
over a multi-year period. And I think that's kind of what Sherry's talking about.
Ends up being one and done instead of something that we can build on over time.
Right.
Yeah. But it is interesting, and the impression that I got talking to Dan, and I'm gonna be meeting with her again Friday, and so there might be some validity to it in talking about the tipping point, that we establish it with the intention that we branch it out, that the Arts Commission becomes the not-for-profit, and that the beautification group, as it builds, gets transitioned over to Buzz, right? But to be able to get it planted, right, when you're trying to do it with volunteers, it doesn't, I mean, the Zinnia Monarch Festival, we've got incredible volunteers, we've got so many volunteers with it, but it also takes having a team that can be behind the, dotting the i's and crossing the t's. And so, and just to say out loud that we're already contributing money to doing this stuff, by forming the commission, we can go after grants and things to be able to help do this stuff, so that we can hopefully get it so that, it's self-sustaining. But you and I both know that when government gets involved, right, it's way easier to just lead money into it to support it. And so I appreciate your, you know, wanting to protect that, not have one other funding issue that we have to then, you know, we have to raise taxes because we don't have the money for it. Any other thoughts or comments about it? Anybody in the audience have any thoughts or about it?
You're talking to us.
I am, just in case you have any, because it's a new idea, so if you have anything that's like, oh no, or oh yeah, or. Donna? Cool,
I think the position sounds good, I wouldn't wanna serve on it.
right? Yes, no voluntelling with that, so, awesome. So I will see if we can get a representative from the Village of Wonderland to just come out and talk about, even though they're home rule, so it doesn't play the same, but the way that they structured it and the why that they structured it might be really good information for us. So, and I went out to their meeting, so maybe she'll come to ours. Awesome, thank you so much for the conversation. Assessor Davis, you are up.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Happy New Year. We are reviewing, thank you so much. And updating all of our, property data and completing inspections, on the much, warmer days as we, continue with ongoing projects. It is that time of year again for you to review your exemptions and renew any that are required to be renewed, such as the veterans exemption and the senior freeze exemptions. Feel free to call our office and make an appointment to assist you for those that don't have, that need help or don't have online access. And just a note, the Senior Citizens Tax Deferral Program may defer part or all of your property taxes on your personal residence if you qualify. And the deferral is like a loan against the property's fair market value. Applications will be accepted through March 1st. And for more information on that, you would contact the Lake County Treasurer's Office, which is Holly Kim, for more information. That particular program is completed out of her office. And that is my report.
So just to reiterate what you just said, so Treasurer Kim has set up a program where seniors aren't gonna lose their house because they can't pay their taxes. They can actually apply for a deferral program and it keeps them safe.
If they qualify.
If they qualify, yeah. Wow, very cool. Very cool, thank you. I'll make sure that Naomi has that information for, if people call.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns, kudos? We're good? Thank you. Okay, moving on, supervisor's report, just, oh, yeah.
Sorry, I did
No,
have
go ahead.
something. Assessor Davis, you recently received an award,
Oh, snap.
is that correct?
Yes, she did.
Correct,
Could
yes.
you tell us a little bit about that as a part of the monthly report?
It is the, it was the 2024 Martin Luther King Jr. Drum Major Award. It is done through the Waukegan Township, and they identify leaders in the community in the political realm and public service, and it's one other category. But yes, so I was nominated. I was one of the honorees, and they had a breakfast, and it was a really nice service. Program, I'm sorry, and you know, they recognized us and gave us, you know, a plaque, and there were a lot of different people on the program, from choirs to violinists to there was a mariachi band. There were definitely dignitaries from all over Lake County. The state's attorney's office spoke to us. Brad Schneider's spoke, and it was a very well put together program. It was very nice, and I was very humbled and honored and surprised to be recognized. And someone else was nominated.
Don't do that. This is all about you, girl.
I just wasn't able to make it to my right. So, yes, but, so I found out, that, you know, it was someone that I know that nominated me, and she said she wanted to recognize the leaders in science, so I just thought that was nice, and
Very cool.
just thankful for that.
Very, very well
Congratulations.
done.
Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you, good catch. Okay, so, moving on to the supervisor's report, a few things. Zion Township is now a SHIP site, Senior Health Insurance Program. Anybody needing any direction on their Medicare, benefits, please call the township and you can get an appointment. She's taking appointments on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Correct.
So, thank you, and just thank you to Sandra for all the work you did to help make that smooth and get all of the information, and did an incredible job, thank you. The next Zion Quarterly was mailed out the beginning of January, for items to include in the future magazines. Here's the email, and I just wanna also give Sandra Usher kudos for all of her hard work on the Zion Quarterly. We're planning the 2024 Resource Day Expo for Wednesday, April 17th, and Sandra is heading that program up, so she's done an incredible job every single year. No, she loves this stuff. Crazy. And then Junior ZBLA, Zion Benton Leadership Academy applications are available, right? And that's Assessor Davis and Business Manager Usher that are heading that up with Chris Kubik. So it begins February, and you still have
February,
openings for
Yes.
youths, 8th grade through senior.
12th grade,
Yeah,
correct.
perfect. Also, plans are underway for the 2024 summer work program. We believe March is when they're gonna be starting to take the applications. The Queen Bees of Zion Red Hat Society spent January 11th shopping in downtown, doing a focus group at the library, eating lunch at Zogo's. They went over to West Elementary and got taught about mindfulness by the 4th graders, and then went to Deck of Flavors for custard afterwards. And it was just a really fun day with everybody out and about, you know, showing off their hats. And I want to share with you, so not that you need to keep it, but I just wanted to show it off. So not to like keep ringing Sandra's bell so that her head like can't get out the door, but she got back from vacation last Monday, and I needed these booklets by Thursday, and she did the entire Red Hat booklet in that many days. So we'd emailed her most of the stuff, but so this idea came from actually Jill LaBelle, whose husband used to be the fire chief and was on the park board forever. She had started this booklet for the Red Hat Society, and this group of Red Hatters is so dynamic and wanting to make just such an impact in the community that we decided to pull this together so that they could have it to refer to communicate with each other. So crazy, very, very cool. And then I also want to share with you Zinnias for Zion. Again, Sandra. I challenged her with, because we weren't able to accept credit cards. And so she jumped through the hoops, met with PNC Bank, and we now can accept credit cards for passports, for the Red Hat trips. And not only that, it's a QR code. So you can just go to the QR code, register for whatever senior trip it is, and pay for it. And they don't even have to leave their house to register anymore, which is incredible. Where that really is maximized is, I also shared with you the Zinnias for Zion order form, and in the same way, the QR code, you can just go online and order your Zinnia flats this year. I am working with our senator on the quest to make Zion the Zinnia capital, and it looks like it's going somewhere. She said that we need to amp it up to get as many residents as possible, like charged up for making it happen. And so we are going to be doing a huge push for getting residents to order flats of zinnias that live in Zion, and getting everybody that we can to commit to planting zinnias in their front yard come May and June, and even maybe doing a neighborhood competition to try and get neighbors to share with each other and do that work. So really excited about that moving forward. So, and then each of you received a calendar. We got a very, very special rate on these. And if you look at the cover of this calendar, it's actually hanging in City of Hope. It's been hanging in City of Hope, this picture has, for a number of years. The painter that did this calendar, his brother works at City of Hope and has for a number of years. Yeah, when I received this calendar, and on the front paper, there's a QR code to go to a YouTube video that explains this picture, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it's just a really powerful story about bullying. And so we thought, we've got the monarch butterfly on the cover, and then one of my all-time favorite pictures that he's painted is the lion with the monarch butterflies on it. And so they had offered to pretty much gift us these for a very nominal cost to just thank all of the volunteers and everybody that helped to make the Monarch and Zinnia Festival ago, to continue that energy of that. So just really grateful for Kim and Jason Katecki and their mission to escape adulthood and get people to quit being so serious and enjoy their life a little bit. So, so we've got that. So we would love your help in encouraging anybody and everybody to order flats of zinnias. And if we can, if you have a neighborhood group that's willing to share with each other, so that a neighborhood is willing to participate, we're gonna have that competition this summer, where we'll be able to mark that, and we will be doing a huge push across the community. So, and I'll have more at that next month's meeting. I'm meeting with our senator on the 23rd, I think, about this. So, moving forward with that crazy idea. So I think that's all we have. Is there?
Are these order forms like in the businesses around town? Like,
They're not. That's the next thought, is that we would do, and I don't know if I can get the mailing list from Sonolito for the businesses, if she has a mailing list, to be able to send them to everybody with a letter.
A directory online.
There is, but we would have to like individually type out each address, and is it possible? Yeah, so I'll reach out to Sonolito and see if it.
She'll be back on Friday.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
And then I'd like to plug the volunteer fair from
Yes.
the Zion Benton Leadership Academy. That is March 2nd.
Yep.
And that's at 10 a.m. in the South Commons at Zion Benton. And then will we be putting this QR code on the site, or how should I distribute that?
Which one?
The flyer for the volunteer fair, if folks want to sign up. If not, it'll be on our Facebook page at ZBCHC and our Zion Benton Leadership Academy social media pages. If anyone else needs to have it, please contact me.
March 2nd, yeah. If ESDA wants to have a booth there, that would be really good.
This is the second annual. They just want to promote volunteerism and give folks an opportunity to connect with different organizations. We also have the Zion Seed Library doing their opening on February 3rd. And then just cross-community stuff. Beach Park Middle School is hosting a spaghetti dinner on February 8th. And then they have their multicultural fair March 16th. So I bring those up, we'll mention them again, but those are some really big and great events that they've had at Beach Park. So.
Awesome, thank you. And then Trustee Fisher, you had a question about the grant and where we are with it, with the wellness stuff?
Yeah, how much longer do we have on the wellness study?
So our deadline for the report to the granting agency is March 1st.
Okay.
Internally, we have a deadline. We're trying to complete that report by February 1st. Just to give us a little runway, we want to get the report to the agency out of the way first. And then from there, we'll be working through the rest of February for a report that goes to the leadership and then also out to the general public. So
About how many people have been participating in the survey?
Don't have the exact number, but as a reference of scale, our target was 300. We nearly doubled it.
Good, that's great.
So we got a lot of support from a lot of different agencies and a lot of good data. So we're working with University of Illinois Extension and their primary researcher on how to slice and dice the data and glean as much information as we can in addition to supplemental data that we have from other organizations.
Very great, thanks.
And are you guys connecting with, because United Way of Lake County was really interested in having a conversation to help you guys get even more data from them?
Yep, that'll be after we get the initial report. Healthcare Foundation of Northern Lake County is the granting agency that I'm referring to, so they have their format. We wanna make sure we meet their requirements first, and then we'll be going into the supplemental